From here on out, I know things might be hard sometimes. But no matter what, please don't ever regret the time we spent together. If you made an impact on people's lives, they will remember you long after you're gone. That is the truth to immortality.
When I first saw Clannad's ending, I was angered by the results. The deaths of Nagisa and her daughter were erased, and all those fantasy world scenes amounted to was basically a reset button. But now that it's been months since I first saw it, it's time to see my updated opinion. By reviewing the ending. So before I start dissecting what's right/wrong with this ending, let me run down the events leading up to it. So, obvious spoiler alert is obvious. Tomoya, a delinquent, meets Nagisa one day. As the series goes on, he begins to slowly develop into a better person, either through interacting with Nagisa, or interacting with other students and dealing with their problems while also getting glowing objects. After Tomoya hooks up with Nagisa, After Story, the sequel, continues the events after that. The two have their issues, but still get closer. They get wed, and have a child. But after childbirth, Nagisa dies and their daughter is raised by her grandparents. Eventually, Tomoya reunites with his daughter after dealing with the death of his wife, and decides to be a goddamn parent after 5 years of neglect. Then Ushio dies. That was probably the shortest summary I could give, because trying to summarize 40 plus episodes into an opening statement is harder than goddamn bedrock. So what happens after that? Well, here's where the ending comes in. You recall those glowing objects? Well, those can grant a user a wish once enough are collected. So Tomoya's wish is to save Ushio from the pearly, spiky gates of death, and his wish is granted, effectively erasing the second half of episode 16, as well as the entire length of episodes 17, 18, 19, 20, and 21 out of existence. But hey, his wife and daughter are alive again. Wait, what? How is Nagisa alive? Who cares? Tomoya can finally be happy. Hooray! Cut to montage in the useless second half, and you have the ending of the Clannad series. Now, looking at the episode on its own, it's fine. After all the crap Tomoya went through in these episodes, it's nice to see him get a happy ending in the end. However, judging it as a conclusion to a story, it's problematic. But since I know some fans of this ending will get very defensive in the comments, or on other websites where I post this to, I've decided to do something I usually never do. Put some individuals on blast, albeit indirectly. Meaning I will use their defenses, but not state their names. And to do that, I've decided to make this Nango plush the mouthpiece for their arguments and or a possible straw man. But he will speak shortly. The first problem that comes up with the ending is that Nagisa is alive. In the episode where Ushio dies, Tomoya is crying out for Nagisa to save her. Her being Ushio. Nowhere in that sentence did he say to save both of their lives. And why is that? Because Tomoya already moved on with his life after acknowledging the death of his wife. That's why she was in that scene near the end of episode 18, to symbolize that Tomoya accepted her death and can move forward with his life while also raising their daughter. Having Nagisa alive kinda ruins that bit of development for him. But then Ushio would still get sick. Also, that would still be a bad ending since Nagisa is still dead. Oh, that was quick. Anyways, that's one argument I've heard from people. That Nagisa had to be alive so that Ushio wouldn't get the disease and so that Tomoya could be completely happy. First off, in the same anime that has wish-granting orbs, alternate worlds, and essentially a reset button, they want to try and add real-world genetics into this shit? Give me a frickin' break. I know I've complained about Nagisa's unexplained disease before, but if that is seriously one of the reasons she had to live, then that is a stupid reason. Hell, Clannad the movie didn't mention the sickness with Ushio, and yet that movie ended with Tomoya raising his daughter as a single parent, and their daughter didn't die. Yes, but would Tomoya really be happy raising his daughter alone? Well, very likely. Because of problem number 2. Tomoya still retains some of those memories from the timeline where he lost his wife and daughter. If he didn't retain those memories, then how would he know about his grandmother, since in the montage his family goes to see her and then possibly repairs the bond with his dad or something? I don't know. If he still had his memories, he would still likely be happy raising Ushio or getting help from Nagisa's parents and or his father/mother-in-law, since he accepted Nagisa's death in the original timeline and did a decent job raising Ushio in the episodes after 18 until she, died. Also, how does he still have his memories? This is never explained. You want to know another thing that was poorly explained? The reason for the illusionary world's creation, and how Ushio ended up there. And guess what? They actually explained Ushio's reason for creating the illusionary world in the visual novel, and yet they never fully explained it in the anime. Great job there, writers. An ending is supposed to wrap up as many loose ends as it can, while also either answering all the questions or finishing up the arcs for our protagonists. If an ending leaves you with more questions than answers, or barely explains shit, then you kinda failed at writing a conclusion. Well, it was similar in the visual novel. I don't care if it exists or doesn't exist in the source material. If it is a problem, then I'm sorry, but it is a goddamn problem to me. Whatever, but there's a reason why the ending doesn't make sense to you.
What's that reason?
You need to look up theories on the internet in order to understand the ending.
Oh.
This argument again.
Oh yeah, it's not the writer's fault they failed to explain shit. It's my fault for not listening to the fan-made theories first. That is one of the dumbest arguments I have ever heard, because often that argument is applied when endings or scenes are poorly written. Listen, I am not an idiot. I can examine a scene and understand it if need be. Hell, I frickin' did that earlier. And you know what? Maybe I shouldn't get it, if that's the case. Why should I bother putting in the effort to look up fan theories or fan blogs dissecting this shit when the writer left the viewers with more questions than answers? In fact, let me rile up a discussion in the comments. How many of you who saw Clannad's ending understood everything in it without looking up fan-related content/theories? I really would like to hear your responses, because as someone who can interpret that Ushia's death in the snow symbolizes the destruction of Tomoya's family, and can interpret the ending of episode 18 as Tomoya acknowledging Nagisa's death and moving forward with his life, I could not understand what the hell happened in Clannad's conclusion. I feel it leaves so many questions that aren't answered or explained. But you know what? The ending didn't completely ruin the show for me. While I do admit that Clannad's first part was handled better, I like seeing After Story continue the events of that. And sure, I have a problem with the ending, but the episodes after Nagisa's death, with the exception of 17, were probably some of my favorite episodes of After Story. Listen, if you like/understand the ending of the show, that's great. More power to you. This video was just me talking about why I feel the ending is very problematic. So that concludes this review. Take care, guys, and happy holidays.